Hi friends, it's Queen Alita. I'm back today with a special message from the Lord. So I just want to welcome you back to the channel. I know it's been a few days, but I'm back and the Lord has got some interesting things to say to whoever this message is for today. But if you're new to this channel, I just want to welcome you to the channel and give you a quick disclaimer. It's important to note that not every prophetic message that I share on this channel is meant for you. So if you believe that it's meant for you, please take it to the Lord. Ask Him to minister to you about it. Today's message is special in that it probably applies to every single one of us. If not right at this moment, at some point we'll all have to confront this issue. It's one of those that cannot be avoided, okay? So definitely take it to the Lord and ask Him if this is something that He wants you to be working on at the moment. You know, there's a time for everything according to Ephesians chapter 3, I think it is. Yeah, where King Solomon just writes about how, you know, there's a time for everything under the sun, okay? So don't rush things if it's not time for it yet. I know that for some of you this message is going to be confirming. This is going to be something that's going to convict you, because it is a convicting message. It's one of those messages that can be triggering. So that's why I say, you know, you have to make sure that this is what God wants you to do or is doing in your life, and that you're not just jumping on things, okay? It's always good to do these things, what I'm about to share, but timing, something about timing with this one, okay? So yeah, really what I'm saying with this disclaimer is that your relationship with God is very important. You have to be able to hear from Him for yourself. You have to have that relationship. You shouldn't be relying on me, anybody else really, to prophesy over you. You really should be a prophet over your own life. So yeah, that's really why I share this disclaimer, so that you understand that this isn't to replace your relationship with God, okay? So enough about that. I'm not going to share a dream today. There have been numerous dreams on what I'm about to share, and the only reason I did not bring those dreams here or, you know, speak around them is because I honestly thought that they just were for me. I thought that these were extremely personal, and the dreams are very personal, and there are many of them. And I did ask the Lord, I said, well, you know, if you want me to share this message, can I share it without the dreams? And He said, essentially, it's about the message. You know, the dream is what I give you so that you can pass on the message, so that, you know, there's interpretation and I can pass on the message. But really what people need is the message. So I'm gonna leave the dream out today, or the number of dreams out today. Like I said, there have been many. But before I get into our message today, now usually I leave extra things till the end, because, you know, it's me advertising for my stuff. But today I'm doing it on behalf of somebody else, okay? So please bear with me. This is a very special friend of mine. Her name is Jaren. She has a calling. Okay, the Lord has called her. Actually, she's called for many things, but right now the Lord has her focused on making or developing perfumes, colognes, whatever. I'm saying whatever because sometimes I get confused. Is everything perfume and then you get all these subcategories? I don't know, but she knows. She understands the perfume world. She's been doing a lot of research. The Lord has put it on her heart to create perfume, really for the glory of the kingdom. And I remember it was a couple of weeks ago when she was sharing the details with me, and when she shared what she was going to call the different perfumes, the men's cologne, and, you know, she was just giving me a rundown of everything. I cannot tell you how much I sensed the Spirit of the Lord in what she was saying. And I knew that God was showing me something that was of Him. This was from Him, and He is going to use her to develop these fragrances. And they're gonna be so special. Like, when you guys get to know exactly what she's doing, you will understand what I'm talking about. So really why I'm sharing this is because making or developing perfumes, developing these fragrances, mixing all the different scents and the notes and all of that together is a very expensive process, okay? This is not something for child's play. You really have to be called to get into this type of industry. Really, she needs help in every respect when it comes to this, whether it's through connections, whether it's through financial support. And if you do want to support her, if the Lord is laying it on your heart to support her for this, I will put her Patreon details in the description below and possibly on the screen. I would encourage you to support her on Patreon so she can continue with this process of developing these fragrances. Why I'm also passionate about this is because I'm learning a lot about where a lot of our products come from, and some of the stuff is really shocking. Like, it is crazy how deeply involved the kingdom of darkness is in the manufacturing of products, especially things like perfume, you know, a lot of the drinks we consume, just food, and a whole lot of stuff, okay? It's in all industries, and that's really essentially because this system is the system of the kingdom of darkness, because this is where Satan was sent to, right? And he set up this whole system here. And you need to understand that a lot of what we consume, a lot of what we wear, a lot of what we think is okay, we don't even think twice about it. These things are manufactured in dark places. Spells are put on them, you know, people or whatever, they do things, okay? And then it gets put on the consumer market, and there we all go all happy and like, oh, I'm gonna go buy my favorite fragrance or whatever, you know? So really, essentially, we should be praying over everything we're buying. But also the Lord is raising up people in every industry. He's raising up kingdom businesses in every industry, and I really urge you guys to take this one to the Lord and ask him how you can support my friend Jaren. Like I said, I'll put the details under the video. So thank you so much for bearing with me. Now I'll get to the message. So today's message, like I said, is a sensitive one. It can be triggering for a lot of people, and I do understand that. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching type of work through my directional dreaming ministry. So I walk with people through some of these things, well, through having to deal with what I'm about to share. So the Lord has been giving me dreams over some years regarding the relationship with my parents, okay, regarding the issues in terms of my relationship with my parents. And very recently I've found myself in a situation where I've really been struggling with how much they still do things that trigger me, that hurt me, that make me feel less than, that make me feel like they're not showing me grace, that make me feel like they don't see me, they don't hear me, they don't care, you know, just all of the things that have been a sore point since I was a little girl. And you know, I've been crying out to the Lord probably for years, but more so recently because of it, just feeling so done wrong. Like, how could you let them do me so wrong, Lord? Like, why are you allowing this to happen? Please change them. Please open their eyes to see that how they, whatever it is that they've been doing, right? So the Lord began to minister to me, and he had me reading something that was talking about actually, I don't even think this is important. Let me get to the crux of what he said through this thing I was reading. He basically said to me, instead of praying for me to change them, pray for me to change you. And this really resonated because a few years ago I had started group therapy, and one of the things, of course, was to deal with the parents, you know, the relationship with our parents, and you know, the wounding as a child. Because essentially our parents are the very first people to wound us. It's just the way it is. I don't want to say it's natural. It's just the way it is because of their brokenness, you know, at the hands of their parents, who are also broken at the hands of their parents. It's just like this cycle that continues, right? And I learned to have grace for people because I understood the cycle of brokenness. And the Lord was just taking me back to that and saying, you know, you keep asking me to change them. You keep asking me to make them show you grace. And it's like, you need to change first. Pray for me to change you. You show them grace first, right? So this was a hard pill to swallow for me. I was really struggling with it, but because God was saying it, I had no doubt in my mind that I was going to do what he was telling me to do. It was just a difficult moment to accept it, to kind of be like, but you saw what they did, right? And he's like, I saw, I know, but I know what you need. And for you to overcome this, you need to show them grace. You need to show them love. You need to show them respect, and you need to honor them. And of course, he led me to that very special verse in Ephesians. So I'm going to read it real quick. It's Ephesians 6 verse 1 to 3. And he led me specifically to the Amplified version. I'd opened my Bible. My Bible is KJV. And he said, I want you to go to the Amplified version. So I took my phone out and I went to the Amplified. So this is what the Amplified version says. So verse 1 says, children, obey your parents in the Lord. That is, accept their guidance and discipline as his representatives. So I have to pause here, because as I was reading this, what I read was, children, obey your parents in the Lord. That is, accept their guidance and discipline as his. I hadn't gotten to the word representatives yet. The Lord stopped me at his, and it just dawned on me that when I don't accept guidance and discipline from my parents, or in all the time that I didn't do it because I was a rebellious child, I was hurt, so therefore I didn't accept their guidance and their discipline. I mean, their discipline, I didn't have a choice. Like, if they told me I wasn't going anywhere, I wasn't going anyway. But, you know, just especially their guidance. And the Lord was showing me that when I do that to them, when I don't accept their guidance and discipline, I'm doing it to him. It hit me like a ton of bricks, right? And at this point, mind you, I'm still struggling to swallow this pill. So I continue to read, and it says, for this is right, for obedience teaches wisdom and self-discipline. Verse 2, honor, esteem, value as precious, right? That's what they kind of put in their little brackets. So to honor is to esteem, to value as precious. So honor your father and mother and be respectful to them. This is the first commandment with a promise. And this is the second part that hit me, which was verse 3. So that it may be well with you. Okay, and the rest of it says, and that you may have a long life on earth, which is great. But that part that says, so that it may be well with you. Again, the Lord stopped me there and he spoke to me and he said, you are at the edge, okay? So many of you are at the edge of something big. You are right there. You have seen the doors open. You've seen the connections coming. You've seen God guide you. He's led you. He's shown you what's coming up. He's opening things up to you. But you're almost at a point where you're like, I just need something to break. And this is the part. This is the one thing that you are going to have to face, that you're going to have to tackle, that relationship with your parents, whatever it looks like, whether your parents are still alive, whether they've passed away, whether they raised you, whether they didn't raise you, whether you've met them, whether you've never met them, whatever the case might be. I'm talking about biological parents. If some of you have biological and adoptive parents, all of them, all your parents, okay? The Lord is speaking to you. He is convicting you. And I have a sense that today's message is for those that he has already spoken to about this. That is something that's been like at the back of your mind. It's been nagging you. So the Lord is saying, so that it may go well with you, so that your things may continue to open up, you are going to have to confront what's going on between you and your parents, whatever gripes you may have. But there's a way to do it. He says, come to me and I'll show you. For me, he was showing me that I was prideful. When he showed me that, I was like, wait, let me look up prideful. So I looked it up and it said something along the lines of esteeming yourself higher, putting yourself in a higher position than others. And I was like, wait, I don't really do that, do I? And the Lord was like, yeah, you do. Think about it. And it hit me again. There was a lot of hitting. Metaphorically speaking, of course. It hit me again that I have been viewing myself as a better parent. or at least I listen to my children. I grew up in a world where children were seen and not heard. That was the order of the day. Grew up in an African household. There was no airing your opinion. There was no one respecting your privacy, or, you know, really like sitting down with you to understand, are you okay? What's going on? There's none of that, okay? I did not have any of that. But I do that with my children. So I go the extra mile to make them feel like they're important, they're seen. I do all the things, right? And I'm not saying I do them perfectly, because I already know that my children are going to need therapy. I know they are, okay? Because I'm not perfect. I was broken, okay? So I've been broken. So the Lord showed me that I was prideful because I thought I was a better parent. And yeah, that also humbled me very quickly, right? And I'm always open to the Lord's rebuke. I'm one person that if the Lord shows me something, I'm like, yes, okay, I see it. I don't spend a lot of time arguing with the Lord. Sometimes I may be, it may take me a while to really understand, and I may question a few things, but when it's clear and I'm convicted, I'm like, okay, I got you. And so this, so really the Lord is saying to you today that He wants you to come to Him so that you can understand how you are to confront these issues, how you are to face this. There's going to be a lot of humbling. You are going to have to be the bigger person, okay? This is something that you are going to have to do, even no matter what happened, no matter what they did. And I know that some of you have been in extremely abusive situations, but even in those instances, and I'm not saying this out of being insensitive or you know, not understanding what you may have been through, the Lord requires you to be the bigger person. The Lord requires for you to forgive. The Lord requires for you to let go, to release. Because when you continue to hold on to those things, when you continue not to forgive, you are literally stopping yourself from walking into very, very specific things that the Lord has for you, only because, not because you're being disobedient and God doesn't want to bless you, because He knows you're not gonna do well. He knows you're not gonna make it. He knows you're gonna get hurt, because where you're going, it's a promise of the Lord. It's where He's shown you He's gonna take you. Whatever it may be, whatever industry it may be, you are going to face abuse. You're gonna face people that are gonna treat you badly. And if those wounds with your parents are not sorted out, you are going to bleed out and you're going to die out there, okay? Spiritually, you are going to die. So this is for your own good. The Lord needs you to come before Him and pour your heart out. Do whatever it is that you need to do. And you know, the final kind of convincing thing, the thing that really convicted me the most was, you know, he took it to Jesus. He was like, look at my son Jesus. There was absolutely no reason for Him to be on that cross, because He had done no wrong. He was spotless, without blemish, and yet He became a curse for you. Yet He took the fall for you. He went down for you. So why can't you take this fall? This was Him asking me. Like, if Jesus can do this for you, if He can bring Himself to a level that He didn't need to bring Himself to, how much more you, who you're already with blemish, you already are guilty, you're not innocent in this equation with your parents. You are guilty. You know, someone who was guiltless, blameless, took a fall. You can be the bigger man. You can be the bigger person. So that really convicted me. And again, I just want to reiterate, I understand this is a sensitive issue. This message today is not for everybody, yet it is for everybody at the same time. And it's all about timing. It's about your readiness to be open to what God is doing. It has taken me many years to get to this point where the Lord was able to say, okay, now I need you to recognize that you're the one who needs to change first. Because when I begin to change, I will see the changes that I need to see in my parents. This is a proven method. I've seen it in many relationships in my life, and this one is the hardest because of pride. The Lord showed me the pride that was in my heart. Okay, so yeah, let's finish reading the scripture because I don't think I finished it. That part that says, so that it may be well with you, and that you may have a long life on the earth. The life that the Lord is referring to here is the very same that Jesus spoke of in John 10:10, when he said, I've come that they may have life, but not only life, life in abundance. The Lord wants things to be well with you and for you to have life in abundance. This is the reason you have to confront this issue. It's like everything hangs on this, okay? You're moving forward. The chances for you to be successful in where God has taken you really hang on this. Because if you go there with this wound, the devil's going to put somebody in your path who's going to be the answer to all of that pain. And that person will lead you down a path of destruction. What the Lord showed me was, this is the very last thing that I'm going to share before I end this video, is that when I look back at my relationships, whether it's with friends, husband, whatever it may be, those people became the answer to the pain that my parents had caused me. And he was showing me, this is what I want to remove. I want to remove this idea of people, of you using people to be the band-aid, to be the antidote to whatever poison you think, or not really think, but to all of that poison, because really it is poison. So he wants you to go forward without any reason for the devil to be able to weaken you. This is an open door for the enemy. This is something that needs to be dealt with, because the enemy will use it against you if he isn't already. Yeah, I really think that's all that I wanted to say. I don't want to drag this out too long. Again, I wasn't trying to be insensitive. I'm just giving you what the Lord gave me to give. This is a hard one. I know it is a difficult pill to swallow, especially when you've been in an abusive situation with your parents. But trust God through this process. You're gonna have to trust him. And again, it's about timing. If you are at a point where you are not ready to deal with this kind of thing, do not force yourself. Take it to the Lord, because he will guide you, he'll lead you, he will help you. But one way or the other, he wants you to overcome all that pain, everything that you suffered in their hands, yeah, and succeed in life and live an abundant life. Okay, so that is today's message. I just felt quickly to say that some of you, your parents may not necessarily. So this is what the Lord showed me. Biological parents, whatever happened there, this is what he wants you to deal with. Whatever happened with your biological parents, even if you were adopted and you never met them, that was a rejection on its own. You need to deal with that. And then for some of you, you may have been raised by grandparents, by aunts, uncles, whatever the case might be. Those parents too, everybody that was a parental figure to you growing up, but like full-time, not like, the next door neighbor was like a mother to me because she gave me lunch every day or whatever. No, like the people that raised you. Okay, I just felt to put that out there. But yeah, that's today's message, and I will see you in the next video. I really pray that it's blessed you and that you will go through this process just with an open heart, because the Lord wants to help you. He wants to help you succeed. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Always remember that God is a good Father. He loves you so much because you, my friends, are so deeply special to him.